It's me, Envy Chan, or I'm also known as Mike Wazowski, and today we're going to discuss something that recently came out on Netflix, and it's a readaptation of a series called 12 Forever. So let's get into this. When I took a look at this series, I wanted to know other people's thoughts on the show because I like to critique shows and see what the pros and cons were about them. So I searched up a few reviews because I wanted to know what people thought and found one by a user called Osaka Ghoul, whose review I found very interesting, but not necessarily in a good way. So when I watched it, I agreed and disagreed with some things. The first thing I noticed was how they jumped into the show and said the creators took out Reggie's friend, who is white, and made him Hispanic, and how they had two gay characters was shoving PC culture down his throat, and said that sexual and LGBT themes don't belong in children's shows. My take on this is that this show isn't that old, so kids of all audiences could be drawn to 12 Forever, the original one, and I personally saw nothing wrong with the original characters, and I thought it was wrong, or not necessarily wrong, but I thought it was a bit odd to race bend the original characters and it's just as wrong as whitewashing. Any race bending is wrong. This review kind of reminded me of the She-Ra reviews by the quote-unquote anti-feminists who were being very homophobic and sexist and trying to cover it up. The thing with the original She-Ra was that it was created at a much older time where most of the characters weren't very diverse and most characters were predominantly white. Since it's the new age, since they were making a modern She-Ra adaptation, they wanted to make more relatable characters to the audience so every community could be represented, and that's okay. However, this is a readaptation, and the creators is recreating characters and can add new things if they want. They can also take out characters. I think when you said that creating diverse characters and adding LGBT themes is propaganda and political, it's not even political at all. It's a freaking kids show. You sound really stupid, and I don't think you know what propaganda is. It is a form of mediums to misrepresent people and to tell lies, and was used to demonetize people in the minority back in the days. In the early 2000s, when readaptations of old stories and movies were popular, people actually changed characters to fit more modern audiences, and people are allowed to incorporate creativity into something they are remaking, and also allowed to change up the characters a bit, which isn't a bad thing. A good example of this was the Percy Jackson movie, when in the book Grover was originally white, but in the movie he is now a black character. This is simply a form of representation. Frick, I can't pronounce anything, to target audiences of every race, culture, and sexuality, and is meant for everybody regardless of age. Say LGBT themes shouldn't be in children's shows. That is certainly homophobic. You are saying that characters who belong in that community are inappropriate for children, and it is shoving LGBT themes down people's throat. I see nothing wrong with portraying two LGBT characters as a normal couple in a children's show is good and progressive, and can be a way to make children be more open-minded and have new ideas. However, creators can make forms of bad gay representations, not to make a change, just to target LGBT people only for the purpose of making money. An example of this is when the creators of Voltron made Shiro gay and took it nowhere and just killed off his husband. I mean, they could have made his husband a, well-developed characters, but no, they only wanted to make him gay to gain money. It's called gay for pay. An actual good example of portraying a good gay character was in Steven Universe, how Ruby and Sapphire were a well-developed couple and people could relate to them. Sometimes as a person of the LGBT community, I can admit that making the LGBT community some sort of trend is very harmful to us. Pride parades used to actually mean something and actually make a change. Back in the day, they actually made progress. But nowadays, people are trying to use the LGBT community as a trend or profit to make money off of. That I see is not right. And also, another thing I don't like about Osaka School's quote-unquote favorite review, it was how he was hating on American cartoons for having different art styles from Korea and probably Japan, and saying that American animators suck. Man, this guy is a freaking weeaboo. Like, his name is Osaka Ghoul, for Christ's sake. Every culture's cartoons are different and they all make mistakes. I mean, Naruto's animating wasn't perfect either, just putting it out there. I mean, the new 12 Forever's animation wasn't as detailed as the original, I can admit. But you can't just go on and shame Western art style in general for making their characters look different, but creating different body shapes and apparently having no joints. I honestly thought that even though the animation wasn't good as the original one, they actually kept the art style and the character designs pretty consistent to the original. By the way, you're pretty much putting it out there and not trying to cover it up that you're a freaking racist weeb by saying, oh, of course he's a drug dealer because he's a Mexican. And calling the characters autistic in an insulting way wasn't cool either. Just so you know, I thought your review and the things you said was insanely stupid. It just shows how unopen-minded you are when you were making this video, and I'm not at all on Osaka Ghoul's side, neither do I agree with them. Don't attack this person or send them any hate. I'm just stating my opinion, and I wasn't meaning to offend anybody. So I'm gonna end this video. I hope you enjoyed this video. Bye guys! And if you like more of this content, subscribe and comment down below what you would like me to review about next. Bye!